Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time for you guys. If you guys hear a little bell ringing, it's Louis because he's running around all over the place right now. But I wanted to bring you guys this story time, and based on the title, you guys know that it is a part 2 of my ex-boyfriend cheated on me story time, if that makes sense. But I named it part 2 just because this is going to be more like the end of that story time that I shared with you guys. I didn't want to go too into detail with like all the stories that happened because they're all pretty similar, and I mean, we would be here forever with story times if I really sat there and explained every single thing that happened. But I wanted to turn something negative into a positive and just basically transition from my story time of how that ended to where I am now with Ulias, which is my husband. So yeah, if you guys are interested on my story time, then just keep on watching. So basically the last story that I told you guys, I caught my ex-boyfriend cheating. I ended up forgiving him, and you guys wanted to know what happened, how did I end up breaking up with him, yada yada yada, all the details. So when the incident happened that I mentioned to you guys, I broke up with him. I went crazy. I was like, how are you gonna do this to me? Yelled at him, got mad, told him that he was a freaking asshole. Everything in the book, I named it. I told him I didn't want anything to do with him. Broke up with him. About 4 months later, I ended up getting back with him. So within those 4 months, I basically, just tried to do me and focus on me. And I did do some petty stuff to get back at him. And it was just a very toxic relationship overall. But he really tried his best to get back with me. He was calling me, coming to see me, going to my school. Like, he was doing everything in his power to just get back with me and get back to where we were, before all of this happened. And at that time, I really didn't care. I was like doing my own thing. I was like, whatever, I don't want anything to do with you. I started dating this guy. I'm gonna name him Matt. We'll name him Matt. And I started dating Matt, and they hated each other. I don't even remember what I named him in my old video, but they hated each other. I'm just gonna call him the ex-boyfriend. They hated each other like with a passion. Like, if there was anybody that he hated, it was him. So it's like, I knew that by me dating him, but not only that, but Matt was like the sexiest guy in school. So it was like, to me, I was like, well, he's cute and it's gonna get him mad, so why not? So I started talking to him, and he was pissed. He was like, how are you gonna go out with him knowing that I hate him and all this stuff? And like, I really got him, got him back. And even though I only talked to him and dated him for a while, it really bothered him to know that I could do something like that. And I would throw shit in his face. Like, I would text him like, he treats me so good, like he's so amazing and all this stuff. And it would just like, irk the shit out of him. But eventually we ended up getting back together. We talked about things, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you another chance. Same old, same old. Around that time was senior year. It was our prom, and it was also like our senior trip. And I didn't go with him to prom, and he didn't come with me to prom, just because we were kind of like up and down still. We were a little rocky. He started dating some girl like throughout that time that he was talking to as well. So we were just kind of like with a whole bunch of mixed emotions. Even though we were gonna get back together, we were still like kind of like iffy about it. And I never liked to do like really special things with him, if that makes sense. Like for my quinceañera, he was supposed to be in my quince, and I took him out of my quince because I was like, what if I don't end up with this guy? Like, I don't want him to be all up in my pictures, Same thing with prom. Like, I thought about it, and I was like, okay, do I really want to go to prom and have these pictures forever? And on top of that, my friends hated him. So they were like, you're not gonna have fun if he's there. You're just gonna wanna be with your boyfriend, so don't even bring him. So I ended up not taking him to prom. I didn't go to his prom either. He went with one of his good friends, and that was it. So around that time was prom. And you know, we were kind of like getting back together. So then finally, after like prom and our senior trip and all that stuff that we did like kind of on our own, but still talking. And, you know, we're there for like the special events, like graduation and, you know, going to college. And after that happened, we were good. Like, surprisingly, we were really good. We started, you know, I started being a little bit more trusting with him, and things started to get better. I started to kind of feel like, okay, you know, I think things might work out with us. You know, you're starting to change. And, you know, being out of school, we didn't have so many people around us, and it was just kind of me and him, and that's all it was, you know, just me and him. So I feel like he started to kind of feel like, okay, it's just her now, and it's like, I want to make it work with her. So like I said, everything was going fine, everything was going great, we were like happy, and it started to feel good. We weren't breaking up as much as we were before. Like, we were literally breaking up like every other week, and it's like now I felt content. I was like, okay, like I'm happy again, we're not arguing. Like, it was like stupid little arguments here and there, but nothing too bad, you know. Finally, around me being 18, 19 years old, you know, we did have arguments, like more than usual, of course, like more than the average, because we would fight about a lot of stuff, but it was better than before, if that makes sense. Throughout the time that I was like dating him, from when I was 17 up until I was 20, I met Ulias around that time. So Ulias is my husband, and I remember this, he was 18, and I mean, he was 16 and I was 18 when I met him. I met him at the mall, and this was throughout the time that me and my ex-boyfriend broke up. So my sister, because she hated my ex-boyfriend, this was her chance to like, when I would break up with him, it was her chance to like throw someone at me, you know? So she was like, oh my God, there's this really cute guy at the mall. You need to come see him. Like, he's so freaking cute, yada, 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 you know? So then I go to the mall, and then I see Ulias for the first time, and I was like, God damn, he's so sexy, you know what I mean? So I instantly had an attraction to Ulias, because I thought he was the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, oh my God, like, he's so cute. You know, me and him, like, I would go to the mall often, you know, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So eventually I ended up giving Ulias my number. So then I texted him for like 2 days, and he was 16 at the time, and he was still in high school, and I had just graduated. So I felt like I was like this big time adult, and I was like, no, you're too young for me. Like, you know, let me know when you're like out of high school, but kind of thing. But I was still focused on my relationship with my ex-boyfriend, you know, because we would break up, go back together, break up, go back together, break up, go back together. So it ended up being the 2 days after I stopped texting Ulias, I got back with my ex-boyfriend. So then I went to the mall, and Ulias happened to see me at the mall with my ex-boyfriend, and it made me look like such a little whore bag, because I was like, oh my God, this guy's gonna think that I had a boyfriend all along. And I'm like showing up at the mall where he works, and I actually went to the other mall that's across the street from us, because he usually would work at one mall and I went to the opposite mall. But it ended up being that they had him working at that freaking mall. And I was so mad, because I was like with my head down, like I was like, oh my God, this guy, I hope he doesn't see me, because he's gonna think that I am such a little skis about, like, he's gonna think I'm a little freaking whore. So that I'm like trying to hide, but he ends up seeing me, and he was just like, okay, like, this girl's dumb, you know what I mean? So I was like trying to play it off. My ex-boyfriend didn't even know what the hell was going on, and he didn't even know who Ulias was, you know? So I was just like, oh my God, like, I was so embarrassed, but I ended up staying with my ex-boyfriend. I was 17 when I graduated, going on 18, so 18, 19, 2 years straight of us, you know, dating and just being good, everything getting better. So it was going to be my 20th birthday, and I was 19 turning 20. We decided to head out to San Francisco for the day, and I just remember having a conversation with him, you know, being like, you know, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and I love you, and this and that, and oh my God, and like, things are just getting so good for us. And I know that a big problem that I mentioned in my old video is that my parents were really strict, really strict. I was not allowed to do anything, okay? Like, my parents had me on curfew. I couldn't like go and spend the night and like do trips, anything like that, because my parents were like, no, you know? So I felt like that was my way out, you know, like me just leaving with him and being like, if I marry you and I leave my house, like I can just spend all of this time with you and everything's gonna be okay. Like I felt for so long that I was the problem, you know, that I couldn't go out because I was, you know, babied and my mom didn't let me do this and I was like this and that things were not good for us. Like I always blamed myself for everything that would happen, you know? So I was like, okay, if we get married, like, you know, things are gonna be better for us and everything's just gonna be good. So it was my 19th birthday, going on 20. We went to San Francisco and he was like telling me this whole thing about how he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me and how he thought it was time and that he was so, you know, just ready for that type of commitment. And you know, it's crazy looking back because he was older than me, not by too much. It was like by 2 years. So he was older than me, but I always felt like I was just so naive back then, you know? And I was like, yes, 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 of course, I want to be with you. So he ended up like, I mean, I don't even think you could say like he proposed to me because there was no fucking proposal. It was just like he got me a ring and he was like, I want to be with you kind of thing, you know? And like I said, we were 19 years old. So it's like I don't know, like looking back at it now, I'm like, really? Like it, really? You know what I mean? But at that moment I was like, oh my God, like you want to be with me? You know, like I feel like when you're in such a toxic relationship and this man is finally like doing something nice for you, you're like, oh my God. Like, I am so worthy of this. Like, you love me that much that you want to be with me forever. You know what I mean? Like, it was like that type of mentality. And I was like, yes, 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 I want to be with you. Like, let's get married. Let's do it. Like, I'm ready. Like, oh my God, you know? So it's like, I just remember that happening for my birthday and me getting home and telling my mom, like, I want to get married. I think it's time. And you know, I want to be with him forever. And my sister and, you know, like my family, like everybody knew because I would tell them like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna get married. Like, you know, I was like so proud, like I want to be with him. And my mom and dad were supportive because I feel like they thought that it was what I wanted and they would support whatever I wanted to do with my life. But nobody was happy for me, that's for sure. Like everybody was just kind of like, really? Like, are you sure? Like it wasn't like, oh my God, like congratulations, like nothing. It was like, are you sure you want to do that? Like you guys should really think about this. It's a really big commitment, you know? And looking back at it, it's like, I'm 19 years old. Like, I don't even know what the hell I want in life. Like, of course it's a huge commitment, you know? So I was like, yes, of course, this is what I want to do. But nobody was happy for me, guys. Like, nobody. Like, not one person was like, oh my God, you know, like, I'm so excited for you guys. I feel like I didn't care though. I was just like, I don't care as long as I'm marrying this guy. This is all that I want. Like, I don't want to think about anything else, you know? So when that happened, we started like talking about what we wanted to do, like how I wanted my wedding and what I wanted here and what I wanted there. And like just going throughout the months, like planning stuff, like not physically like doing too much, but you know, I was excited. I was like, yes, you know, I was excited, but then like so doubtful at the same time. Like I can't even begin to explain it because it's like I was so happy because I was like, I felt like this is what I was waiting for my whole life. Because I'm telling you, this is the guy that I was with forever. Like the only boyfriend that I had that was really serious like that. So it's like I was thinking to myself, like, this is the moment that I've been waiting for so long, you know? And I was so doubtful at the same time, like that I thought like, oh my God, really, like this is it, you know, like this is what it's gonna be. So I started planning, and like my sister, it got to the point where my sister Vivian, the one that you guys have seen like on my snaps, and if you guys have been to my seminars, the one that's always with me, my best friend, ride or die, like I fucking love her more than life itself. And it got to the point where me and my sister weren't talking anymore. And she, if you saw from my previous video, I told you guys she hated him and hated everything that came with him and wanted better for me. And when she found out that I was even thinking about doing something like this, she was like, if you go through with something like this, like, don't even count me in. Like, I am not gonna be there. I am not going to your wedding. I'm not gonna be there. Like, I'm not gonna support this. I'm not gonna be there. Like, you don't understand what you're doing to your life. Like, why do you want to be with him? Like, all he does is treat you like shit. Like, she just went like ham. And I was like, you're just mad. Like, you don't want me to be happy. Like, I didn't, like, I completely just, it like went in one ear and out the other. And I was like, you're just so selfish. You just don't want to be happy for me, you know. And we got into it so much, like, you know, she just didn't want anything to be, she didn't want to be a part of any of it, you know. And I was just like, you know, me and my sister were like this, like if there's anybody that they're like, I would do anything for, and I mean like anything in the freaking world, like, it's my sister, okay? Like, we're like this. I mean, even my older sister, like, we're all, my older sister, my two brothers, like, family is everything to us, like, everything. I am so close to all of them, you know what I mean? But me and my sister Vivian, we have a very different bond where I feel like she's like my best friend. Like, I feel like I can tell her absolutely anything, you know? So then one day, I remember it like the back of my freaking head. Like, okay, so we were hanging out, me and my ex-boyfriend, at my house, and he ended up leaving early, like at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and was like, I'm gonna go home. Texts me. Once he gets home, he's like, hey babe, I'm home. I'm gonna go to sleep, blah, 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 blah. So then the next morning, his sister texts me like at, I don't know, like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, and is like, hey, are you still with my brother or something like that? And I was like I woke up in the morning and I was like, this guy just texted me that he was home that night, you know? So she texts me that, and then I text her in the morning, like at 11, and I was like, hey, did your brother end up getting home? Because he was not with me. He left like at 9. And then she was like, oh, I don't know. Let me check his room. And then she sent me this message like, no, he didn't get home. He wasn't with you. And then later on, like 2 hours later, he's like, she texts me and she's like, never mind, my mom said that he was home. So then I was like, is this happening right now? I was like, it's like his family like covering for him doing whatever he was doing or not coming home, you know? So at that point, everything was good, right? But everything that was just bad, all the lying, all the cheating, everything just started like coming back to me, like all in slow motion, like, you know, being flashed right in front of my face. Like, I just sat there and I was like, it was the smallest thing, you know what I mean? Not even small, but he lied to me. He told me he was home, you know what I mean? And he ended up telling me that he ended up going to his cousin's house late because he called him, they were drinking, he was drinking, so he didn't come home, yada, yada, yada. I don't fucking know. I don't know if it was true or not. I don't know what to believe at this point. I'm like, you're a liar. You're never gonna change. Things are never gonna be better. And it's like, why am I sitting here fooling myself, you know? So me and my mom, like, my mom's like very traditional. Like, she doesn't really get in my business, like, about my relationship. And I was never really open about my problems with anyone, you know? My family, if my family is watching right now, and the people closest to me, they're probably all surprised by everything that I've been saying about this relationship that I had, because I never would talk about the negative. Like, I never would talk about the bad stuff. Like, everybody thought that my relationship was good, and it's just because I never involved anybody in what I was feeling, you know? So I had a conversation with my mom about what happened, and I was just telling my mom, like, I don't know if I want to be with him anymore. Like, this is something that I have been feeling for a really long time. And I just remember being in the kitchen with my mom, with my sister, and me crying to my mom, okay? Like, my mom has never, ever seen me break down like that over a person, you know what I mean? Like, a guy like that. So I was just crying, and I was just telling my mom, like, I don't know what to do. Like, help me, like, guide me. Like, you're my mom. Just tell me what I need to do to make this go away or make me feel better. Like, just like, I feel like I just needed her guidance at that point, you know? Even though my mom has never really been involved like that, but I just felt like she knew, like, you know, like when you're a little girl and you just feel like your mom's gonna save you. Like, I just felt like she just needed to tell me, like, everything's gonna be okay, you know? So I had that conversation with her, and that happened. And she told me like, you know what, Blanca, this is a very big commitment, and if this is not what you want for your life, then you need to break it now. You need to just drop it, because you're not going to be that person that does this and then ends up in a divorce. You know what I mean? Like, you need to think this is a big thing. Like, you are like, no, you know, like she was like, you need to think about this, and only you're gonna know, you know? So I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Like, like I was just like, I don't even know what to say, like how to feel, like, is this what I want for my life? Like, so then, you know, I just started beginning to lose myself, and I was like, I'm losing everything that I am for what? Like, this guy, you know? So I remember being at my sister's house, and I text him a text message, and I was like, hey, I don't think it's time right now. Like, I think that we should really think about things and maybe wait a few years for this type of commitment, you know? Oh my gosh, like, oh, like hell broke loose. Like, he flipped the hell out, and he was like, this is what I mean, you never know what you want. And it's like, yeah, I would doubt myself a lot with him. I would always break up with him. I didn't want to be with him. Like, I would say like stupid remarks. I was a freaking psycho person because he made me that way. He made me be that person that I was. Like, I couldn't help but feel the way that I was feeling. So he was like, you're always doubting me, you're always doubting us, like, this is not okay. He's like, if we don't get married now, we're not gonna be together, you know? So he gave me that choice to be like, okay. So I told him, I was like, okay, well then I guess we're not gonna be together, you know? And that was it. Like, I was like, I guess we're not gonna be together. It was like a text message. So he wrote me this long ass paragraph about how I hope that you find happiness, and I hope that he gives you what you want. I don't even know who he is, because I wasn't talking to anybody. I didn't even give him a reason to think that there was anybody else in my life, but he assumed somebody else was in my life. And he was like, I hope that he makes you happy and that this was worth it. I can't believe you would do this to me. You broke this, and yada, yada, yada. Wrote me this whole long message, and I didn't reply. We cut it off. We broke up. Like 2 days later, I get a call from his mom, and she just tells me like, oh, this is it? Like, are you guys not going through with this? And I was like, yeah, I guess we're not. And it was just kind of like that. Like, we just stopped talking from one day to another. It was through a text message. Like, I never once saw him in person or called him over the phone to talk about things. Like, we just broke up over a text message. And sorry, there's somebody passing by with a car. So we just broke up over a text message. And after we broke up, I was fine. I was okay. Like, I wasn't going through it. There was a few text messages that he sent me. Like, he'll send me like a song, or he would send me like just something weird to like kind of get my attention. But at that point, I was just kind of like, you know what? Like, I'm happy where I'm at right now. I started going out a lot. Like, I was going out a lot with my sister. Like, we were going out, you know, and I was about to turn 21 that coming year. So I was just prepping myself, you know, I don't know. I was just focusing on me. I was in no rush to get a boyfriend, talk to anyone. I was just focusing on my life and focusing on being happy. And I was just getting out of a breakup, and I was fine. Like, I was really, really fine. So then we broke up like towards the end of the year. I want to say maybe like October, November. And the holidays started coming, like Christmas, New Year's, and that's when it started getting tough for me, where I was like, oh my God, like, the holidays are coming. I'm so sad now. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know what it is about the holidays that they get you all like, they get you all emotional. And I was just like, oh my God, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should be with him. Like, what did I do? You know, and like, I was just like, oh my God. Like, you know, I was going through it. Like, I went through it for a good like 3-4 months where I was just like, I think I made a mistake, you know? And I would text him, and I would be like, maybe we should talk, and he would ignore me. Like, he'd be like, I would be like, maybe we should try to make things work, and he would ignore me. And, you know, I think at that point, he was already talking to someone, if I'm not mistaken, or he was probably just not trying to deal with me as it is. I honestly think that he was probably talking to somebody, and that's why he was so distracted. But he didn't want to talk to me anymore. And I was like, okay, you know, so I kind of put myself in a place where I was like, okay, Blanca, this is it. Like, don't be that person, just let it go. You know what I mean? And I just remember me sending him like this whole message about how, you know, that I regretted it at the time, but that, you know, maybe one day that we would be together, or like I still kind of gave us hope, you know, that we would be okay. And I never got a response. And honestly, like, I feel so good that he didn't respond and that he like just let it be, because I feel like if he would have, like, what if I would have stayed in that relationship? Like, I don't know, like, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I'm just so thankful that like he moved on and I moved on, you know what I mean? Like, I just let it go, and I was like, you know what, Blanca, this is it, like, it's done. So I just remember, like, you know, whenever we would break up, I would just take down our pictures, like, just put them away. So I just remember like being with my sister in the room and me tearing down all the pictures and grabbing scissors and just cutting everything. And my sister was like, oh my God, this is real. Like, cause I would never, like, she was like, I knew it was real the moment that I saw you cutting up those pictures, you know? I threw away everything that I had in my room that had to do with him. I got rid of everything, clothes, like purses. Like, I didn't want not one thing to do with him, like, at all. So I got rid of like everything in my room, you know? So then I went out again and I just started going out. I started partying, like, you know, hanging out with my friends again. And I got my Facebook back, and I was just, you know, trying to enjoy my life and be happy and like focus. And don't get me wrong, it was tough. Like, trust me, it was tough. Like, you know, I would hear things like, oh, like he's talking to this person or he's talking to that person. And it would make me get an urge to like, okay, maybe I should text them, or maybe I should, you know, but I didn't. Like, I stopped myself. I just distracted myself as much as I could. I was just out with my sister, with my friends, with my family, like going to dinner, going out, like hanging out, like, you know, keeping my mind occupied. And I was just like not giving myself any room to just think. Like, I just went out, you know, and I was just enjoying life, focusing on me. By that time, I got a new job. I started working at the bank. I started working at Wells Fargo, and I started making good money at Wells Fargo. I was starting to save, and I was just, you know, taking care of myself, taking care of my life, taking care of the person that I know that I was supposed to be. And I started my Instagram at the time as well, and I was, you know, I started getting people on there who were recognizing me and like recognizing my work, and things were just, you know, kind of falling in place for me. I got into a really happy place at that point, and I was like, you know what, this is finally like happening for me, and I'm so happy, and I'm just good. And I distracted myself, like I said. So things started falling into place for me. I got my Facebook back, and then I want to say like 4 months later, Ulias and I started talking. Maybe not 4 months, maybe like 5 months later. Ulias and I started talking. We saw each other on Facebook, and like, you guys know the story. He poked me on there, I poked him back. We sat there and we like, you know, got back to where we were. He was like, you're still in Stockton? And I was like, yes, I am. I was like, we're actually hanging out. So I started like bringing him around my friends. We were going out together. He was coming out, you know, drinking with me, and like, you know, just enjoying it. Like I said, I didn't start drinking until I was about 20. I was 21 years old. Like, I actually waited till I was 21, maybe a few months before, but I actually waited to like, you know, do all those things. So, you know, I was partying and I was like enjoying every minute of it, because I would never do it before. It just started feeling good, you know, to have someone there. And, you know, I told him everything that I needed to tell him, like the important things. But aside from that, he didn't want anything to do with, you know, my past. Like, he was like, I want to know you for you, and that's all I care about. I don't care who you used to date. I don't care about what happened. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want to get to know you, you know? And I like initially fell in love with that. I was like, you know, this guy just wants to be with me, and like, you know, but it took a while. It took a while. We talked for a good amount of time before I fully was able to give myself to him, in the sense where my heart was open enough to let him in, you know, because at that point I was still becoming, you know, very independent, very unreliant of any type of man or, you know, anything. And I feel like I was ready when I finally started talking to Ulias. I was like, look, this is what I need, this is what I want, and this is what I'm not gonna tolerate, you know? I told him I was in a relationship where this is how it went, and I'm not gonna go back to that. I was like, I have a really strong relationship to my sister, my family, everyone around me, and I'm not going to ever lose that again, you know? And like, he loved that, you know? And at that point, my parents were still strict with me, and he respected my curfew. He respected the fact that my mom didn't allow him in the house yet, that my dad didn't want him in the house yet, especially because I had just gotten out of a relationship. I didn't want to just bring another guy into my home. So he respected all of that. Like, he never once doubted anything that my parents, you know, like, he respected me so much. And like, he really just cared about me, like, genuinely. Like, I had never in my life met someone who was just so willing to love me and accept me for me and the qualities that I have and that I don't have, you know? Like, he never, like, he would look at me like, damn, like, I am like the luckiest man in the world, you know? And it's like, that feeling that he gives me, like, never in my life ever have I ever you know, felt. So me and him started really good. There was incidents where I would run into my ex-boyfriend, and he would try to, like, you know, get my attention at some point, and I would get random calls and just random shit, you know, like, where you know that it's, you know, that it's that person, and it's like they're just trying to get you back into that place that you were because they know that you're better now, you know? And it's crazy because somebody can definitely change your life so much for the positive. And I feel like sometimes I look back and I'm like, I wonder what my life would have been if none of this would have happened, if I would have never met Ulias, or anything like that, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're at a point where somebody is not motivating you, if they're not filling your life with positive, you know, just positive vibes and, you know, making you a better person and wanting better for you, then they're not the right person for you. And I know that I can't stress this enough, because in my old video, I got so many questions where people were like, I'm in that same exact situation and this is what I'm dealing with right now. And it's so sad because it is. And it's like, whenever I got with Ulias, people would always question, like, you guys can't be that happy. Like, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And you're right, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And we do argue occasionally, but we are great. He's great. Like, we have a great relationship. And if something wasn't to work out in the future, you know, then at least we know that we gave it everything we had to make it work. You know what I mean? And it's like, I love him and he loves me. And it's like, I know it. I feel it. I can see it. Everything. It's like a complete package, and it's like, you'll know. And if you're in that point where you're like, I don't understand why I'm feeling this way, why I can't let go, or it's because you're so comfortable with being with this person that you don't know any better, you know? But everything is gonna be okay. Everything is gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. And if you decide to leave this person, you don't understand how many more blessings and how many more things will fall into your life. Everything happens for a reason. And when it rains, it pours, okay? You're gonna feel like your world is going upside down and there is nothing better out there. But you would be so surprised. And I would love to hear your story. Like, you guys can comment below. And I'm saying comment. If you don't want to post it like on your picture, like, you can send me a DM, but I say comment because I was noticing on my last video when people would comment, a lot of the girls that were on those comments were helping those other girls and just giving each other advice. And I feel like sometimes we need videos like this, you know, where we talk about things like this, because, you know, you might be going through something and then another person who happens to read your comment can also relate and, you know, tell you what they've been through. And I feel like, you know, you need to talk to people who have been through this to basically tell you like you're gonna be fine. I feel like you need that reassurance. Just like me when this was happening and I went to my mom and I went to my family and I was like, I just need you guys to tell me that it's gonna be okay. And it's like having that support. It's like, you know. I hope you guys all enjoyed this story time. I love you guys, and I opened up a lot in this video because those are things that I don't ever talk about, you know, in depth with people, and it's not something I would normally share, but I did want to tell you guys because I feel like I see it so much on here. So many comments, so many messages where people are like, I need help. My boyfriend is this way. My husband is this way. I feel like he's cheating on me. And it's like, I do this not for your guys' attention. I do it because I want to help you guys, genuinely let you know that I am a prime example of what things, like being in a better place, you know what I mean? Like, you guys only see the happy relationship and the happy life that I have right now because I am happy and I'm so filled with happiness around me, that you need to know that it took a long time for me to get to where I'm at, but I got here and I'm happier than I've ever been in life, you know? And it's like, this can be you too if you make that change. But I hope you guys all enjoyed my story time. I will be back with some more story times with you guys, for you guys. And yeah, I love you guys. And don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to my channel. If you guys want to see more story times, let me know in the description box below what else you guys want to see here on my channel. And don't forget that you guys are amazing and I love you guys all so freaking much.